Hello and welcome to the first Ruby tutorial with working on the Raspberry Pi. We're going to jump right into it. Now today we are going to do the very first ceremonial Hello World program. But before we get into that, when you boot up your Pi, especially if you had never used Ruby or did any codes, open up your terminal and type in sudo apt get install ruby -full. This will update everything. Make sure that you are at the latest version of Ruby, as well as it will install all of the main stuff that doesn't come with the interpreter that comes with Linux. So once we get that done, make yourself a project folder, open it up, and we're going to right click, create new, empty file. And we're going to call this hello.rb. RB extension tells the computer that this is a Ruby program. My VNC wants to act up a little bit. It happens from time to time. But we're going to come in, and then we're going to open up the new hello RB file that we made in our favorite text editor. Mine's JEdit. And now here comes the Hello World program. And I'm going to show you just how easy Ruby is. All you have to do is type in puts hello world. We'll do this like this. By the way, in the quotations, it doesn't matter if it's double or single quotations, but we'll go ahead and do it this way. We'll do hello world in single quotations, and we'll come down and we'll put one more in, puts in the double quotations, good morning Dave, because you know 2001 Space Odyssey is pretty cool. And that's it, we're done. That's all you gotta do. Well, almost, but we're going to save this, and now we're going to test it. There's a couple of ways we can do this. We can open up the terminal, and then you can type in this change directory, which is cd, and then add the desks, do the whole desktop and Ruby projects to do that, or we can come over and just right click and open up in the terminal. Either one's fine. I do suggest, if you're new to the command line, to try to get into the practice of just so you know how to do it, with the cd, change directory, and then the path name. If you look here, just like on a Windows machine or Mac OS, you have your directory path right here in the folder right there. So you can even do the same thing. Just right click, copy, cd, right click, paste. Does the same thing. Makes it a little easier. But now that we got that out the way, this is how you run a Ruby program. You open up the command line, make sure you are in the right directory where the script is at, and you type in ruby hello.rb. This is how we can tell if our script is working right, if there's any errors. And there we go. As you can see, hello world and good morning Dave. Now that's kind of lame, yeah. I mean, what's the point of making a little hello world program and where you have to type in the file name and physically load it up? Well, here's the cool part. This is what we're going to jump right into that most tutorials will not get into. So if we open up our main directory, now most people, like me, I usually stick with the Pi user. It makes it easier for doing just development stuff. But in Home Pi, you open up this folder, come over to View, and click Show Hidden. This will show you all the hidden files and folders within this directory. There's one in particular that we want to look at, and it's called the bash.bashrc. By the way, if anything, any directory or file starts with a dot, it makes it hidden. So we're going to open up this and just take a look at it. Now there's a couple of ways of running your script when the Pi boots up. Most people have heard about the RC local. Now what that does is when the Pi first boots up and you see the whole okay, and it does the post, it does this post boot and it checks everything, makes sure everything's working good. The bash or the RC local will run your script during that point. But for our script, we don't want it to run during that point. We want it to run when the Pi finishes the boot process and logs in. Either you have it logged in automatically, or you got to type in your username and then your password to log in. Either way, after that stuff, we want our script to run. So, in this file, in the bashrc, that's what this does. It allows you to have your scripts run when you log in. We're not going to be editing this. Sorry, we're not going to be editing this file, but we're going to look into it, because right here, alias definitions. You may want to put your additions into a separate file like bash.aliases instead of adding them here directly. And you can see more about it, and I do suggest looking this up in this, and you can find it right there on your Pi. But this is the code right here that does the trick. So we're going to exit out of here. Down here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make a empty file, and we're going to call this .bash_aliases. And we're going to open this up. Now there's one thing I wanted to talk about while we're at this point. There is a line that's called a shebang. Now, if you remember, I talked about how the .rb stands for a Ruby program. Let's see, where did I put it? Documents. Old projects. There we go. I need to grab this shebang from this one. Open up LeafPad. Right here is a shebang. It starts off with # followed by exclamation point and a directory tree, which tells the Linux command, well, the Linux kernel, to load this and then to load the Ruby environment. You do the same thing with bash files, with Python, and all the other languages. So with this, if you add, this is one type of shebang. They vary from how you would do it, but all in all, they work the same. But if you use the shebang, you don't need to have the .rb extension on the end of it. So I'm going to exit out of that. Continue here. So here is our brand new bash.aliases file. We're going to come in, and we're going to put in our shebang. Now this one, you want to have the # user local bin env, which stands for environment, Ruby. Then come down. Now, oh yeah, before we forget, we're going to go ahead and, now we know that this project works, we're going to cut this guy and we're going to move him over here into our Pi folder and paste them. Now here, we're going to type the same thing as we would in the command line. Ruby hello.rb. Save. Now, as long as everything goes well, we're going to test out to make sure that the script pulls up and everything works right. And the way to do this without having to shut down your computer, which that's kind of when we restart your Pi, you really don't want to do that, because just in case if you get stuck in an infinite loop, it can be kind of aggravating to get out of. So the way that we test it, we're just going to open up a terminal. And there you have it. Hello world. Good morning, Dave. And it doesn't matter how many times or how many terminals we open up, our script will run. So next time your Pi starts up, you will see hello world and good morning, Dave. But let's make this more personal. Let's exit out of this. Yes, save selected. Oh, yeah. Okay, no, we're going to edit this. So instead of saying good hello world and good morning, Dave, we're going to put puts. Let's see. I'm going to put in my name. Now at this point, please feel free to add your own message. Customize it. Put your name in, do whatever you want. This is yours. Your Pi. Customize it the way you want. We're going to save it. Exit out. And we'll run the terminal to check it. Still putting our other messages in. Oh, I know what I did. I saved it back in the other project folder. So, we'll do it again. Save it. Check it one more time. There it is. And that goes for the very first program, your very first Ruby program on how to customize your Pi. Now, very simple. The code, as you can see, one line, which in a lot of other programs would take about 2 or 3 lines to pull off. But as you can see with Ruby, very easy, very clean, easy to work with. And now that we have our bash.aliases folder file set up, we can use this for future projects. Now, this file here can also be used to run other scripts other than Ruby. So if you want to play around with Python or Perl or Bash, which this is what this is, it's just loading the Ruby environment, then you can add them here, same way. Again, it's a little bit different commands, but it's the same thing. Like if I wanted to start up into the Ruby terminal or the Ruby shell, all I have to do is come down here and type in IRB like I would in the terminal. Save. Run the terminal again. Hello Benjamin, what will we work on today? And I am now in the Ruby shell. Just like this is the bash shell for Linux, this is the Ruby shell. So everything in this shell works only with Ruby. And now you can run bash commands, bash and other, system commands, bash scripts, and work with various other things in this command like you can with everything else. But instead of the bash shell that you get that comes on when you boot up, everything is Ruby syntax. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But enjoy your first program, play around with it, and I will see you on the next tutorial.